Get in the know. Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
How key was playing time and coming back and talking about returning here? How key was it to get an opportunity? I would take it to see more action, because I'm guessing teams did talk to you about that opportunity that you didn't necessarily get here previously.
I mean, there was a lot that played into it. But like I said, one of the biggest things is just loving it here, and I'm just blessed to be back part of this organization.
I'm trying to get Alex Madison to
call not answering the question, but you know what? He's a good guy. I mean, I'm not surprised.
Were you promised to be the starting running back? You promised that did you stick the knife in Dalvin Cook's back?
How important was the promise of playing time? I think that's a very fair question.
Talk about playing time. Talk about
the Pirates. With Thomason gone, someone's got to ask those hard questions, and it might be Judd now.
Yeah, who's going to get people all wound up at those press conferences now? Who's gonna barrel in with the aggressive question?
I can't get out there that much because they actually have those press conferences during our recording time. So that's a very good question. I don't know.
I mean, if you want to go in Bulldog, we can alter our schedule if you want to. We can talk about it. It's up to you.
I don't feel like you get the answers now, though, like that. Yeah. And I don't blame him, but I mean, obviously it was important, and I feel like now it's just like, or you get blown off completely. Guy won't even talk to you or look at you. Jordan Addison.
So Jordan Addison, maybe it was too loud. Maybe the fans were blowing. So yeah, and if you missed it, we did a big. Judd got back from the OTA practice yesterday, and we had a bunch of observations from Judd. So check that full episode out yesterday. But yeah, you tried to ask Jordan Addison
why you didn't
practice? Hey guy, what's up? What's up? You're not practicing? Just a friendly encounter, and he didn't even look at you. So I think there might be a little prima donna to Jordan Addison's game. If he catches a bunch of passes, whatever.
It might be just me. People might just not like me anymore.
It's fair. Yeah. It's a fair assessment of the situation. Could easily be the case. People do like TCL TVs, one of the world's best-selling consumer electronics brands. They have a new lineup of award-winning TVs, delivering the most entertainment with stunning resolution at an affordable cost. Learn more at TCL.com and inspire greatness with TCL, an official TV partner of the National Football League. And before we get to the accountability session and predictions, a shout out to our friends over at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. They've been helping businesses in the Twin Cities, in the state of Minnesota, and in all of the other states around America for over 100 years. They're all about helping you maximize your business's success through risk management. All sorts of tools and resources you can find over at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. All right. Let's fire it up here. The only show in America that actually has the guts to do this.
Most make predictions and then never admit they're wrong. Yeah, that's not Mackie and Judd. This is the place where we just totally own our horrible predictions.
Write this down.
And eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Write that down.
It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackie and Judd.
That's right. We actually put statistics next to our predictions every single week. Every other sports show in America, they're too cowardly. They don't want you to know when they're wrong about things. That might put a dent in their reputation or ego. Well, we don't really have reputations or egos to protect, so we're dumb enough to put statistics next to predictions. 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody each week. That's how this works. They must be quantifiable predictions. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns here on Purple Daily. We also do this in broad form, beyond football, on Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd, our other daily podcast. And listeners, if you want to be like Harry and participate as a guest listener predictor, you can send us a message. Send it specifically to Declan through the Score North app, and we will get you scheduled for some time this summer.
I believe we are booked through June and the first week of July, so we have openings after that. It is a hot button to get on this show, so just keep sending me emails. We'll pencil you in.
Okay, and hopefully by that time, Declan's home internet will be working, so he'll be able to get your emails and your requests.
Write that down. That might be a prediction later today.
And sod will be planted and everything. It'll be like a real house.
It'll be great. Yeah, we should do a deep dive on this maybe later on today. See if we can fire Declan up. Get him to lash out.
God. I could make a prediction about a year from now.
What does that mean? That was awfully cryptic.
Well, last time I checked, our friend Dex was going to get married in July of 2024, right?
Oh, the internet. You're saying the internet issue is going to derail his marriage? Like, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying potential home complications could. Believe me, I've been there.
What? Jesus. All right, Judd just made this weird. So let's get to the accountability session here, gentlemen. Starting with, well, we don't have any accountabilities this week, unfortunately, because we're in the dead of the off season. So I'm going to give you, instead of things that have come off the board wrong or right, I'm going to give you highlighted or featured predictions that are still on the board here. All right. Starting with this one from Judd. You said the Vikings will trade for Trey Lance this offseason. Now, Trey Lance just got done working out with Patrick Mahomes and Patrick Mahomes' mechanics coach. And some video came out at 49ers OTAs that his mechanics look a little different, looks a little more accurate. What do you think of this? Do you think that there's Trey Lance propaganda floating around? Do you think the Vikings could still make this happen at some point?
It's definite propaganda. It definitely is. First of all, this whole thing of like mechanical adjustments with an elongated throwing motion a la Tim Tebow. Oh man, we fixed it in the summer. It's going to be fixed. First time there's pressure, he goes back to throwing it like a outfielder in baseball would. The other thing is, if I'm not mistaken, there was a report yesterday that Brock Purdy's going to start throwing the football next week and might be prepared to play on opening day. So you're telling me that you're going to have Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, and Purdy's going to be the starter? So what does that leave? I mean, Darnold now is a backup, which is absolutely fine, and he can step in and start. I think it's propaganda, man. I think it's no accident that we're hearing that Trey Lance has fixed his, and I'm not saying he's coming here, but I'm just saying if he's going to get no opportunity to compete for the starting job, what's the point?
Yeah, I heard Declan make a noise. I just want to give him a chance to rebut.
I'm just making sounds, listening. That's it.
Okay.
Not really.
Do you like the theory?
Really comment on it? Yeah, I do. I just don't think Trey Lance is going to amount to anything in the NFL.
Wow.
You might be right with it.
You might be right.
I'm just making sounds.
Making sounds.
All right. I said at one point the NFL will replace the onside kick with a new solution by the 2025 season. Well, they just ixnayed it for the 2023 season. So I got 2 more years to make this happen. Wouldn't that just be universally more exciting? Hey, instead of an onside kick that everyone has seen fail for decades, how about a 4th and 17? A 4th and 20?
Yeah, makes
4th and 15. If you get it, you get the ball back. If you get it, you get the ball back maybe at the 25-yard line, or do you get it back at the point of the play? If you score a touchdown on the play, is it a touchdown? I don't know. There's a lot of fun things that you could put in play here.
And why wouldn't you? Like, you have eliminated one of the thing about the onside kick is in the old form, which obviously caused more concussions. It was a really fun, exciting play to watch, right? Why would you just not have something to replace it? And like, your solution's perfect.
Yeah. By the way, that solution, we started talking about that with Chris Long 9 years ago.
Yeah.
So come on, just adopt a brilliant idea that came from the Mackey and Judd radio show back in the day.
Didn't one of these leagues, XFL or USFL, do this?
So the XFL, what they have is it looks weird, but the kicker is standing alone basically, and all of the other players are down by the other 35 or 40-yard line.
Okay.
So the player catches the kick. It goes over the 2 lines of players that are blocking and trying to tackle. And so the guy catches the kick, and it starts like a running play, basically, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You can just go Google XFL kickoffs, and you'll see screenshots of it. It's very different. Okay, listeners, predictions still on the board. Mike said Kirk Cousins will be on the cover of the next Madden game. You know, I will say, people mock this. People mock Mike, but 8 fourth-quarter comebacks should get you at least in the conversation.
Absolutely. Mr.
Fourth-quarter comeback himself, the secondary slayer. No? Okay.
No, I'm still, I mean, look, this is a safe space. We've all had stupid predictions, and certainly I've had my huge share. But yeah, I can't get on board with Kirk being
Okay. Well,
Anyone here with
until
cover
we
men.
see who's on the cover, Mike, you're going to still.
Yep.
We're going to keep this on the board. And then one on the board here for Declan. You said the Vikings will trade Kirk Cousins this offseason. What's your feeling on this one? Do you think the ship has sailed?
Yeah, I think it's mostly has sailed on this one. I'd be pretty surprised at this point. I don't think. I mean, there's no real back unless Jaron Hall just really starts to wow him even more than Nick Mullins. Hell, he wow him more than Kirk Cousins. I don't think this one's happening.
Yeah, I think it's pretty unlikely at this point. So with nothing coming off the board, the season stats remain the same. Declan, 39.5% completions. Judd, 34.5%. I'm at 33%. Listeners at 27%. Old Macadac leads the league with 5 touchdowns, just ahead of Judd and Declan at 4. Listeners with only 1 touchdown. Come on, listeners. Got to pick up the pace here. Get it going. And then career Declan leads Judd by less than 1% completion, 35.7 to 34.9. I'm at 32.3, ahead of listeners 23%. Old Macadac with the career touchdown lead, 38%, or 38 touchdowns, I should say, 10 ahead of the listeners at 28. So there's the accountability session here. Pretty light this time of year because there's not as many things coming off the board. Let's get guest listener predictor Harry in the mix. Harry making his debut, right? Want to write that down? What's up,
first
dude?
one. What's going on?
Tell our audience, when did you first become a suffering Vikings fan, Harry?
So I'm kind of like a self-taught Vikings fan. Like no one kind of pushed me in this direction. It was just kind of like growing up, just always, hearing about Randy Moss and then Adrian Peterson. And then it kind of wasn't until like they lost a wild card game. I think it was in 2008. And it was just something about him. I was like, I really like this team. And then little did I know what was to come.
Wow. So you chose this life. This life.
And I've just been, learning up on like, everything past before I was really into it. And what else is like what's coming, it's just it never stops.
08 too is weird because that was the loss to Philly at the Metrodome where Tavares Jackson was picked off by Asante Samuel, and like I would not have predicted that a person would have said, you know what, I like that team.
Yeah, it's just weird, but ever since then it's just a full dive in,
Glad to have you aboard, man.
He's 15 years into his journey here. So we're gonna do this. We'll start with Harry, and then we'll go to Judd, Declan, back to me. We'll take 3 trips around the room here. So Harry, you're up first, man.
Write this down.
What's your first prediction?
No one's really talking about this, and with the rule changes, I think Kene Nwangwu is not going to make the 52 or 53 man roster, whatever it is.
Great minds.
Yeah, we did. So I think by the time people hear this, they might be able to listen also to our podcast on Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Joe. We did a deep dive into this today. If that's your only job and the NFL is trying to get rid of that thing, then you might need to find another skill set.
And they keep talking about, flexibility and all that. And he doesn't really fit what they want. So,
my dad, he retired probably a year or 2 earlier than he wanted to because of these damn computers back in the early 2000s. They're like, well, Mr. Mackey, if you want to keep working here, you need to add another skill set. He's like, I don't want to learn computers. I'm just going to retire. This is stupid. Kene Nwangwu, we're going to need you to learn how to catch a pass,
Good for him.
play on 3rd down, maybe, take a handoff and gain 5 yards. I don't want to learn that. Okay, well, we're going to phase out these manual reports, these TPS reports. We're bringing computers in here.
The Bobs came and got your dad out.
Yep.
So
what would you say
you do here, Mr. Mackey?
Here?
People
person.
Missing it.
Write this down.
All right, over to Judd.
All right. Marcus Davenport, who I actually spoke to after practice yesterday a little bit, will have no fewer than 5 sacks after 8 games next season. So he had half a sack. And I tried to ask this question in the nicest way possible. In fact, he thanked me. I said, how does a guy with your stature who looks the part have half a sack? And he said, I'll take that as a compliment. And I said, you should. But he basically said that he didn't blame outside factors. He said, I need to improve on my moves. Like I need to, I think his exact word was finish. He's like, I get there, but I don't finish. So I'm going to say that with Brian Flores' tutelage, Marcus Davenport will, and also the incentive of being on a 1-year contract, have no fewer than 5 sacks after 8 games.
So you've already offended Marcus Davenport, is what it sounds like to me.
It's a question you got to ask. He had half a sack. I couldn't not ask it.
Was there another way to ask it that doesn't offend him? When he says, I'm going to take that as a compliment, he really means, wow, guy, thanks for that shot.
I don't know, but I don't care that much. But he answered the question, which I appreciated. Sometimes people do. So Marcus Davenport, though, I think is going to have a nice season.
So Jordan Addison wouldn't even look at Judd. Marcus Davenport already is offended by Judd. Who else can Judd piss off at OTAs and mini camps?
Oh, there's plenty more.
Yes, there is.
Plenty more where that came from.
All right, Dex, what's your first prediction?
All right, first one for me. Write this down. TJ Hockenson will get a contract extension before Danielle Hunter gets a new contract or gets a contract extension. I don't want to get burned on Danielle Hunter's language of his deal, but what I'm basically saying is TJ Hawkinson's contract extension will happen before Danielle Hunter's contract gets reworked. Does that make sense?
I think so. Yep.
Okay.
Yes, it definitely does.
Yep. So they're going to take care of TJ before they take care of Danielle. Maybe offend Danielle.
Write this down.
All right, write this down because we can make football predictions or predictions about people on the show.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
And it's about Declan. You don't even have to take your headphones off. I don't think there's anything you can do.
Okay.
Wow.
Write this down. Declan won't have working internet in his new home between now and next week's. Write that down. We will, when we record next week's, write that down. So this is a week. Declan still will not have working internet in his home. Write it down.
I feel bad because we're both pushing him to explode.
No.
And it's
No, this
really
is not
not
pushing to explode. No.
Okay,
You will explode, by the way.
How far off am I here? Is it
So I have an appointment with another internet provider today. I'm just going to leave both companies out of the name in case they ever want to sponsor Purple Dew, which then I will gladly switch back and endorse that internet company. Declan here. Let me tell you about the great customer service experience I have at X. So I should have internet, I'm hoping, by Tuesday next week.
okay.
Oh, this is going to be...
This is going to come right.
Dude, it's a 3-day holiday weekend.
Here's the really fun part, too, because what if their only appointment is available Wednesday morning and I have to stay back and get this internet to turn on Wednesday? This could come down right to the wire is what I'm saying.
What makes you hopeful about Tuesday? Have they floated an appointment window option? Because what I'm banking on is when you want new internet, it's pretty unlikely they can just we'll just get someone out tomorrow.
Correct.
And now we have a 3-day Memorial Day weekend. So it's not happening Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, most likely. Plus, you're going to be gone. So you're not going to schedule those days.
Right. So
I think
I'm saying,
I might be onto something here.
Yep. I think I'm hopeful for Tuesday, but the money line's pretty even, I think, right here.
Oh, this is glorious. Dude, this is the dumbest thing about moving. It's 2023, for God's sakes. We put a rover on an asteroid.
This is basically
and you can't just move into a place and just have internet. It doesn't make sense. Why does it take a week? Hire more people. You know, what are we doing here?
And then if you make me not be able to go to my job for 5 hours and just not show up with zero accountability, then I need heads to roll. I need something to happen here. I need something. Honestly, all right, here's the tangent. Honestly.
I told you were pushing him and now he's going.
This is what pisses me off the most.
Yes.
In life, the one thing that you have control over is being on time to things, being early to things. When you are late, that is a self-induced problem. You are to blame for that problem. You can take options to prevent yourself from being late. And people have no accountability for it, and it absolutely drives me nuts. This is beyond internet.
They made Declan wait his entire window. They give you a 5-hour window of we're gonna show up sometime. We're gonna show up in March, so just kind of hang out by your house, and we'll get there when we get there. And Declan did not get any communication or anything. And at the end of his window, didn't they tell you, oh, yeah, they got caught up on another job, so...
Sorry, can't get out there today or tomorrow. It's all right, sweet, I'm going to somewhere else. Thank you. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
So, all right, so there's my prediction.
Write this down.
All right, back over to Harry. What's your next prediction?
Oh, God, that's great.
All right, this one's kind of a parlay, kind of based on how, everybody on the show kind of predicts things. So I think at the end of the season, whatever, Mackey will lead in touchdowns. Declan will lead in completion percentage. And I kind of tweaked it because I thought the listeners were off to a better touchdowns, but they're not. So I don't know if you want to include this, but I think Judd will finish behind in both touchdowns and completion percentage, kind of based on like how he predicts.
Behind the listeners?
No, behind whoever's like basically finished second in both of those categories.
Or further back. Okay. Or behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he would.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
If you lead on home, so I would be second.
Right.
I'd be behind you in touchdowns.
So second, you want to say he'll finish second?
Yeah. Second.
In those categories. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll finish second complete. Yeah, that's a real lack of respect right there, but I don't disagree with that.
Write this down.
Okay, back to Judd.
All right, this is going to take, I know you're going to be shocked by this, a year, but I've come to a conclusion. It's very important now, so I want to get this one out there and on the record.
The Declan won't have internet in a year from now still?
No,
Is that the
no.
prediction?
Tom Brady will never take over as the number one analyst on Fox's NFL coverage. So
Wow.
he's supposed to in 2024, but he just bought into the Raiders, okay?
And Fox approved that, by the way.
Yep, and he was supposed to take over in 23, but then said, you know what, I'm going to give this a year. Greg Olson's good, and Brady, I think is just I think he's trying to find something to do, and at the end of the day, he very well might end up on TV like Peyton is. I don't see him being a guy going around though, like traveling to, hey, it's the best game that we've got is this okay game, you and I don't see it. So I don't think he'll ever fulfill that number one analyst role with Fox.
What's the end date on this?
Well, he's supposed to be in the booth opening week 2024.
So we need an end date on this though, because I mean this is one of those
week
that
one of 2024.
Yeah.
You're saying, okay, so you're saying,
but you're
saying never. You're saying the word never.
I'm saying it doesn't happen. So
week one of 2024, he will not be the
number
one.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is I don't want this to turn into another. We have to wait for him to
Larry
die
Brown.
situation.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Larry Brown will never coach again.
But he did, and I got it right, and we missed it.
Right, but if he hadn't coached again, it'd still be on the board. We'd be waiting for him to coach or die.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So,
okay. All right,
Declan.
All right, next one for me. I'm going to make another Danielle Hunter prediction here. Write this down. Danielle Hunter will be publicly present at TCO at some point before training camp begins. And I'll quantify this as he'll either be on the sidelines at an OTA, a mini camp, he'll do a podium interview. He will have some type of public presence at TCO before training camp. He will show up.
Yep, and I would say on days where the third-party media is not allowed there, if Vikings Entertainment Network sneaks a picture of him and puts it on social, all of it counts, right? If he's spotted at the practice facility, I think it should count. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Write this down.
All right, I'm going to go against Harry here, and I'm going to say write this down. I think despite the NFL getting rid of kickoffs or trying to, Kene Nwangwu will make the initial 53-man roster. I think they're going to see, they might even see if he can return punts, just see, especially if Dalvin's gone. It's just nice to have another body in there that has been around the system for a couple years, or for at least a year or two training camps. So Kene Nwangwu will make the initial 53-man roster. Write her down.
Write this down.
All right, Harry, what's your third and final one here?
All right. Let me know if this one is a touchdown, because if it's not, maybe I'll throw a different one in. But I think Jalen Naylor will at least double his receptions and touchdowns in 2023.
Yeah.
And he had 9 receptions last year and 2 touchdowns. So it would be 18 and at least 4 touchdowns in the year.
That's a touchdown.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, Harry, nice work, man. Nice debut on Write That Down. Since you've got this life-changing platform, this pinnacle moment here, is there anyone you'd like to thank in your life that brought you to this moment?
Just you guys. You guys, always got content all year round. Like, it's always something to just listen to and keep up with. Like, it's never really stale. Like, like you guys just do a lot for a Vikings fan, just not even in Minnesota. Like, I was able to find the show over here in New Jersey. So just you guys, you guys do an awesome job, and keep it up,
man.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harry. We appreciate that. Keep holding it down out there on the East Coast, and good luck with your predictions. We'll do it again sometime.
And then real quick, could I just throw one wild card prediction, and just for, a few of my Jets fans,
Oh,
I like
wow.
going. I like
Write it down. You
There we
like
go.
writing things
getting
down?
into disputes with them. So I just want to put this on the record for against them.
I love these
I think the Jets-
encore,
Yeah, you know,
like
I
Harry's
feel
he's
bad.
coming back on stage.
I
It's
feel
great.
bad, but I got to throw this out. I think the Jets will finish third place in the NFC East behind the Bills and Dolphins.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not buying the hype. I'm not buying it.
You're not buying into it?
No,
Because they
not
certainly
buying
are
it.
out there.
Yep, exactly. So thank you guys so much for
Love
letting
it,
me
man.
throw that out there and having me on.
You got it. All right, Harry. Great
Thanks,
stuff,
Harry.
dude. Thanks for coming on. There he is. All right, let's shout out a couple friends here before we get to our final round of predictions. And we should maybe there's an interesting free agent out there now that wasn't out there 24 hours ago we could talk about. But Athletic Greens, AG1 specifically. About 6 years ago, old Macadac discovered Athletic Greens. And AG1 is just this incredible boost to your supplement routine. In fact, it can take the place of a multivitamin. It's 75 high-quality ingredients that give me important daily nutrients to either start my day or to boost me in the middle of a day. AG1 for me helps with brain fog, energy levels, gut health. I just feel dialed in, ready to unleash football takes all day long. That's right. If a
Looking
comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, Athletic Greens. And by the way, it doesn't, people are like, look, does it taste good? Yes. Like it is. I would say that the first time you look at a green drink, you're kind of wondering like I was. No, it's been, I enjoy the taste of Athletic Greens. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/purple daily. athleticgreens.com/purple daily. Also, Livia is here if you're on that health kick. It's summertime. You're looking to maybe change your life a little bit. That's what Judd did almost 2 years ago.
That's right. 40 pounds down. Most important thing, keep that weight off. And I have a proposition for you that is going to make you think long and hard about a program that I'm here to tell you works. How would you like to lose 15 pounds by the 4th of July? That's right. By the 4th of July, you're down 15 pounds. That's exactly what can happen thanks to my friends at Livia Weight Control Centers. Their doctor recommended program works. Their nutritionists and dietitians do a fantastic job, not only helping you lose that excess weight, but then keep it off. And so you feel great. And right now, call them or go online and sign up. You're going to get 3 months for free. That's right. 3 months for free. So you are going to be down substantial weight and then maintain that weight loss. And the first 3 months are going to be for free. You can get some already right now by calling 855-GO-LIVIA, livia.com, LIVEA.com.
You got your nutrition dialed in, your nutrients. You got your weight going down, right? And now you get out to the golf course because you look good, feel good, play good at the Meadows at Mystic.
Amen. Amen. You can drill putts. You know, you can put yourself on camera like me and then be hyped up on cough medicine and you can drill putts. That's the only way that works for me. And apparently it works best too at the golf, at the Meadows at Mystic Lake. And I can book
if you
those
can't
tee
get
times.
internet, you can still go golfing. It's great.
Yep. Yes, there have been tee times booked without the internet, so that'll at least be good. And I can do that at the Meadows at Mystic Lake. You can go to golfthemeadows.com to secure those tee times. One of the best courses around. Go to golfthemeadows.com to enjoy a cold one on the patio. I might just live there since I don't have internet. It might just be golfing and patio space at the Meadows at Mystic Lake. Go to Golf the Meadows to book that tee time.
Write this down.
Amazing. All right, back to Judd here for your third and final prediction.
Okay, so this prediction comes from what I saw and then talked about extensively on the afternoon Purple Daily that Phil and I did yesterday from the Vikings OTAs, where we've talked about how aggressive the defense was. One player who was not there, and again, these are voluntary workouts, so his absence was not a surprise. It's not a concern. It's not a problem, was Harrison Smith. Write this down. After having 0 sacks last season, 0 sacks, Harrison Smith will have 1 in the Vikings opener against Tampa Bay.
Oh, look at this guy.
He's going to be blitzing. He's going to be confusing. He's going to be moving. He's going to be dropping back, coming up to the line of scrimmage. The hitman who was what's the word I'm looking for? Suppressed last year by Ed Donatel, basically told, hey, just play deep, dude. That's fine.
Yeah.
He is going to come back with a flourish, 1 sack in the opener against the Buccaneers and probably Baker Mayfield.
I like it.
Write this down.
I like where you're going there. Yep. It's funny, all these defensive players or all the offensive players coming out yesterday and being like, boy, this defense we faced in practice. It was exotic. It was aggressive. It was almost too much to deal with in a May practice. But yeah, it's like I told you yesterday that I think offenses and specifically offensive linemen would tell you the best thing you can face every day in practice is an aggressive, confusing 3-4 defense because you can help. It's the hardest thing to sort out. And so if you have to sort it out every play at practice, it makes it way easier when you get into a game and you're playing against something that's less exotic. So this is all good stuff for the Vikings. All right, Declan, what's your last prediction?
All right, my third and final prediction, and I believe I'm allowed to make this. I believe I'm allowed to make this kind of prediction here. Whenever, it could be next week, could be in a few weeks. Whenever Kevin O'Connell joins Purple Daily again, we will get on the show at least 3 good question, good points from Kevin O'Connell. Whenever he comes on the show, we'll get 3 of those. Oh, that's a good question. That's a good point. We'll get at least 3 of those type compliments on the show.
I love this prediction. And I'm going to be hunting for them, just so you guys know.
Oh, yeah. I'm laying the groundwork here.
We got him on a year ago. We're hoping to get him on again here in the summertime. And he'll probably come on for, I don't know, let's call it 20 minutes. I don't know how many questions we're going to get off, but that is going to be my primary goal. I don't even care about what you guys can ask whatever you want. I want the validation from Kevin O'Connell. The questions I ask are good questions. He's done that to you a couple times at practices, right, Judd?
Yeah.
He's given you the good. That's a good point.
He gives that out a lot.
He does. And I feel like when in a podcast, in a little more intimate setting, I think he's also more likely to give it out. Personally.
Yeah, because we're all just friends. We're all just
we're all just friends
want
with
the
the
same
show.
thing around here.
Yeah.
He's
always he throws them out a lot at press conferences, so that would not be surprising.
That's a great one. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go a step further. Because this is a great prediction.
Write this down.
I think this is a touchdown if it happens. He's going to give one of those out, at least to all 3 of us. Be on your A game, okay, guys? All 3 of us are going to get a good question or a good point or something in that family, a compliment about the question or the point that was made from Kevin O'Connell.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
We're going to bring our A game. He's going to reciprocate by acknowledging, yep, you guys on that media side, that's a great, you did your homework on that question.
I already got mine. I already got my question for him. I was actually talking to Phil about this last week, and I think I'm in line to get it. I think I am in line to get it. Judd has no idea what I'm discussing.
Calling a shot right now.
But I'm calling it right now. I'll get it.
I have no idea what the question is. So your question's already on not
Declan has scripted his questions. He's scripting the first 15.
Yeah, okay. All right. Fair enough.
So, all right, those are your write that down predictions. The accountability session, which was not a whole lot today. Every single week, we're making predictions about the Vikings, about football, and we also do this on our other daily podcast, Minnesota Sports, with Mackie and Judd here. Another free agent became available yesterday that's worth just mentioning here. Presented by our friends at Aquaside. It's summer lake months here. Okay.
Oh.
Don't have a grimy lake and dock area. You don't want to embarrass yourself with the family, with your friends.
Oh, thank God the cabin has internet. And thank God the cabin has an Aquaside lake. Okay, they have my favorite things. Those are all taken care of, which I always love. Accountability, just like my friends at Aquaside. They help you remove that nasty lake weed and algae. In fact, they'll actually help you diagnose what is in your lake, what is in your pond, what type of chemical, what type of plant, what type of thing am I working with here? And they can help you remove it with their Aquaside pellets. Go to aquaside.com to get these pellets, or you can stop in their store. They're located in the Twin Cities, at least, in White Bear Lake. Go to aquaside.com.
Gentlemen, Brandon McManus is now available. Veteran kicker, 31-year-old veteran kicker from the Denver Broncos. He was cut yesterday, and he put something on social media. I think it was kind of a surprise, maybe, but here's my question to you guys. Greg Joseph last season was 28th in field goal percentage, which is funny. Actually, Brandon McManus had a bad year last year. He was actually behind Greg Joseph in field goal percentage. But Joseph specifically was 28th in field goal percentage last year, 18th the year before. He was the worst kicker in the NFL beyond 50 yards last year. Greg Joseph. He was 4 for 10 from beyond 50 yards. No other kicker who attempted at least 6 kicks of 50 yards or more, missed a higher percentage of them than Greg Joseph. And I believe his 10 missed extra points the last 2 years, most in the NFL. So Brandon McManus, I'm not saying he's going to the Hall of Fame or anything, but he's just been a good, solid. Now, Denver's a little different. The altitude can be a little bit different, right?
Yes.
And last year, he had a rough year. He did miss 3 field goals inside of 40 yards, and he missed 2 extra points. And just there's a reason why he's not the Denver kicker anymore, but he's been traditionally solid. Is this something you would consider, moving off Greg Joseph for a guy like Brandon McManus?
No, personally, no. I would, as much as I question Greg, the leg, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to bring in a younger kicker with a big leg like a Daniel Carlson. Remember, my whole thing about young kickers previously was, why are you giving them to Mike Zimmer, who actively hates young kickers, right? O'Connell's different. So I would personally be in favor of having competition for Greg Joseph with a young kicker with a big leg, because you're not going to mentally mind bleep him through your antics that Zim did. So no, McManus would probably want too much. To your point, Phil, he's coming off a tough year in Denver, which and of course he's the stooge who Hackett put out there in Seattle to attempt like a 60-yarder, like he was in Denver. What the altitude of Seattle or something like that. Anyway, no, my answer is no. Doesn't mean that I don't want competition. I just think now is the time to pivot to a younger, inexpensive kicker with a big leg.
So as much as I've said all last year, there is no kicking problem. Greg Joseph wasn't costing you wins last year and was making all of his kicks in a playoff game. So I don't know what kicking problem we like to talk about here. But McManus, I'm probably out on this. Denver's weird. He is not the kicker he used to be. I know he's kicked in the Super Bowl. He helped the Broncos win a Super Bowl like 6-7 years ago. I actually think the kicker they brought in, I believe it's Jack Podlesny from Georgia in their UDFA class. Yeah. That guy potentially could push Greg Joseph. He only missed 1 extra point in his entire college career at Georgia. Last year, he was 26 of 31. So they're legit could be a quiet kicking competition. I would still say Greg Joseph is your betting favorite to be your opening day kicker. But in terms of McManus, no, I'm probably out on this.
The college extra points, though, those are still the point blank ones, right? Those aren't like 15-yard line.
Back. Correct.
So that dude might get nervous and miss a few of the NFL ones. But yeah, like, anytime you have a guy with, Power 5 pedigree that comes into camp up against the 28th ranked field goal percentage kicker, that is a battle. We haven't really talked about like a kicker battle yet. That is a battle to watch. I don't think Greg Joseph has an ironclad hold on his job. You miss 10 extra points over 2 years and you're outside the top 25 in field goal percentage, you're probably gonna have to work for your job. So, but yeah, I think McManus, there's too many questions about his downfall last year and the altitude. I would be on alert for guys like McManus, especially if he's still out there during training camp and Greg Joseph looks bad or something. A guy like McManus maybe he picks up in a camp and gets cut again or something. He's kind of like Dan Bailey was available a couple years ago. There's always guys like that who've been kickers. They don't get nervous. They've been on the big stage. Maybe they're not as good as they were 5 years ago. So he should be on a list for the Vikings, but I'm not like rushing to the phone to call his agent right now anyways.
Agreed.
So, all right. Good sesh. Good little session. Again, if you missed yesterday's episode where Judd emptied his notebook in digital form, his digital notebook for the first time about Vikings OTAs, you can check that out on the Purple Daily podcast feed and YouTube channel. And get your Feedback Friday questions in. We will answer as many of those as we can in a couple of days. But this is Purple Daily, daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a damn Super Bowl before we die. See ya.